Good morning.
What's up, peeps? What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning. How we living? How we living? How we living?
Man, I'm not sure if y'all can see, but now I see since the last time, what, Monday we've been on, maybe Tuesday.
Yes, yes.
I noticed that something changed. We got a little ticker at the bottom now in Restream. So I said, let me test this out. So this is what we're going to be having for a little bit, just to see how this feels, how this flows.
Oh,
I have no clue. Do I like it? It's okay.
wow.
What's going on, partner?
Nothing much. Not much. Chilling. It's raining today. It's kind of storming, but they say it's supposed to get 90. So that's a mixture of that. I just will be in the house today. I don't do wet and muggy. It's just one of the things. That humidity is a killer, and it's pollen. It's kicking live for all of y'all who got the sinus issues. I know y'all feeling me this morning. The pollen got me going, but hey, it's Friday. We showing up. We doing it. We ain't been on all week. Well, Tuesday we was on. We was on Tuesday. We took a little respite yesterday with Real Talk. We hope you guys rested as well. If you didn't rest, oh well, it is what it is. But we back here on Friday. We with the credibility, vulnerability moments, and we talking about connected visibility to credibility. How we doing that? How we doing that? I'm glad
Yeah.
you all showed up last month for the vulnerability series. As we know, we switching the series around each month. We highlighted Charlene this month. She got the month of June. This is also the Gemini month. All my Geminis out there is two sides, and we gonna see the two sides of Charlene on June.
There's what there's well yeah there's two
Yeah, the
sides.
Gemini sign is the twins. I'm not into the
They're
astrology
set on
part. Like,
fire. They're set on fire and blaze. You
yeah.
correct.
So I'm not too much into the astrology joint on that, but I do know the signs, the Gemini signs. I got a couple in my family, so I do know that they do have two parts. They play two
I'm a
parts.
Taurian, so
They have two
excuse you,
sides.
sir.
You
Excuse
you
you, sir.
next
I'm a
you next one.
Taurian.
You next one.
I'm a Taurian. Okay, okay.
You next one.
Let's not do that. Let's not
Well,
do that. But
let's
good
kick it out.
morning,
Let's
everybody. Don't forget, drop in where you are from. As you
yes.
can see, we are having this conversation to allow you to think about, what is it that you guys are doing? Because we're all trying to build visibility either in our careers or in our businesses. But what is it that's going to allow us to feel comfortable, but be real about it and allow us to also be vulnerable in our due time? Don't never do things because others are constantly nagging you. And I'll say nagging because if you're not ready, it's not going to come across right. So you want to do things when you're ready. You want to do things when it's right, but you also want to do things to allow you to grow from it and allow others to know why you're doing it. And that's part of with the visibility. We're always hearing people say, you know what, let's get visible. Do things to allow people to see you. And then when you get people's attention, now what? Are you wasting their time? Are you wasting your time? So it's all about a strategy, having that strategy of how to really use your visibility and your to build that credibility, or is it even possible? And all of that too can be, how are you bringing in the foundation of your marketing, people getting to know you, your website? How are you allowing your websites to help you accomplish these goals? So you know how we do, we like talking about mythbusters. So today's mythbuster is, to be seen as credible, you just have to be seen. Now, please drop it in a comment. Do you even believe in this comment or this statement? How does that feel when you see people are always on your in your feeds? Because that's part of the whole let's get visible thing. They're always in your feed. They're always posting. They're sharing. They're doing videos. They're doing the most for some parts, right? But does that mean that they're automatically credible because you see them a lot? What do you think, Carl?
Yeah, sit up, buckle up. Let's go on this ride, right? To be seen as credible, you just have to be saying no. I see a lot of non-credible people every single day on this platform. Yes, this one of the most supposedly one of the most genuine business-worthy platforms in social media. LinkedIn gets a lot of credibility buzz across the social media spectrum for who is on it, who's dealing and moving and shaking, so to speak. It's on it. But I have come across quite a few that are on here that are
Mm.
shaking, moving, but they just not doing it correctly. When I say
Mm.
correctly, I mean legally, I mean morally. There's a lot of things going on, and they are being seen. They definitely are being seen, and they're being seen under a guise of credibility because of the repetitiveness of being out there. A lot of people liking their credibility into that too. If I see you a
Mhm.
lot, then you must be credible. If I was on Family Feud, I would hit the buzzer. That would be a definitely strike because a lot of people put out that to get you under the auspices of thinking that the more stuff I put out there, the more credible I look. But you have to do your homework. So just it's
Yes.
a myth in that being seen. You just have to be seen. People see you, and people also view you and see you and don't comment. I think I told the story before about the guy that watched me for a year. Yeah, you look at it, right? It's a strange thing, but you don't know that how many of that phenomenon is going on. People are watching you, especially now in this time. So yes, you may
Mhm.
actually get seen, but what does that equate to? Does that equate to you making differences? Does that equate to you making sales? Does that equate to you helping people? Does that equate to you moving the needle in your business? There's some equations that must be put into the point of that. Strategies got to take in place in that. So just being seen all the time does not make you credible. I see a lot of people all the time, a lot of videos. If I can go back to East Coast, West Coast, y'all want to come over here. You know how the producers all in the videos dancing and stuff, like my man Sid said. You know what I mean?
Shady. That was one of the shadiest
L- L-
speeches
so
ever.
you can't. I got to whatever he calls and all of the fallout from that. Was
Right.
unnecessary. But I like how he called it to the carpet. He just called out what
Right.
my man Puff was doing, and that's how you have to do it. But he's saying that, and that's the Puff being seen, right? But Puff was
Mhm.
credible. So I mean, those kind of things you can equate to. But he also had something to people to hang their hat on, and that's
Right.
what really being seen is really about.
And thank you, Anna, for chiming
Yes.
in quickly. And good morning to everybody that's coming through. And I want to say with that, you always hear the what is it, the know, like, and trust factor, right?
Yes.
Because I know about you, or I really know you. That's
Mhm.
one. Two, because I like you, do I really trust you like that? Because there's a
Mm,
lot of folks that we can like, but do we trust them enough to now bring them into our companies? Because they have those company referrals, or work on projects. Do we trust you enough to work on a project with you? Because I
mm.
like you doesn't mean you can get the work done. So we have to start really thinking about these. I want to say these sayings, these nice little things that people want to give.
Catchphrases.
Right, just these nice little catchphrases. We have to be careful when we're spitting and regurgitating these things back out. What does that really mean? Because I know you, do I like you? If I like you, do I really trust you on major projects, things that I need to get done? Payments. Do I trust you enough to pay you? That's
Mm,
a lot of that comes into play. So you have to be careful when people are telling you just need to be seen to be credible. That is not true. You have to be consistent, and I want to go jump into what I really think are some of the top 3 things that you should take into account. You should be able to speak with honesty and humility. That's really what's going to help you build that credibility at the end of the day, because like I said, you got all this visibility, people are looking at you. Now what are you going to do with all that attention you're getting? And you should be able to speak each and every time someone sees you with honesty and humility. If you don't know something, just say that. Don't
true.
tap dance around it. Just say you don't know. Say you'll look into it. Say you'll try to figure that out. Help them figure it out. Sometimes it might not even be your job to figure it out. It may be your job to help them, guide them somewhere, connect them to other people. But start understanding that you don't need to know everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in that battle. Like, they need to know. They need to be that expert. They need to be that go-to. Go-to doesn't mean you are the end all. There's a huge difference on that. So speak with honesty and humility. This goes for everything. You running a business, you running a project, you being on a team with other people. Maybe you're not the lead, but you're part of it. So you want to make sure that if someone asks you a question and you don't know, just say you don't know. If you're going to someone and you're saying, you know what, I see you do this all the time, I trust you, let's work together, then trust them. Trust them. Be humble enough to fall back and let the other person do what they need to do. Trust them. But the nitpicking, the constant idolation of things, and it's almost like it's almost like you're like when you're saying with the Geminis, the two sides, right? Do you or don't you? And then you're in the middle riding that fence. So you can't really have that clarity. But if you now want to start building your own credibility in things, you want to be visible about it, be honest about what you're doing, be humble about things. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm that dude. I put it in there in the chat because I think that's vital. I think that's vital for existence, and that's also the parameter and the measure that keeps you. I was talking on the book club yesterday with Benita Lee. I don't know, if, a lot of people may know her. She hosts the virtual book club every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I told her I would give a shout out for her show, and it's so fascinating. We normally take a month and go over a book. Uh, that she reads, and we discuss it and break it down. And we were talking yesterday about the lack of humility with people, and we were really talking about people want to do the right thing, but the
Mm-hmm.
pressure is so fierce and so heavy on a person doing the right thing. And you may have a bunch of people that's in agreement of doing the right thing, but they don't want to do it then. Like they have time and preferences for when they want to do the right thing, when it's convenient for it. And that comes to play in a lot of things. And I think when you're humble and you have humility that's being the guide of the things that you do,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I said in there, it's knowing the time, place, and tone. And that's what humility brings about. And that's why I really like to, not like, that's why I really strive to stay in that moment. All things accomplished are great, all things that's done or you've been through, you've overcame. All of those things are great, and they are power and fuel to give to other people. But they have to be at those places, time, place, and tone. That's when they
Yeah.
become effective, and they can't be a braggadocious thing. And you find a lot of leaders do that now. A lot of people say, "Well, I got services. If I want to talk about myself, how I'm be known." There's a huge contrast in talking about the services you own and being prideful in the essence of that and not showing humility. And I think that's what we lack about when we're speaking about honesty. Because a lot of times when people speak honestly, they think that is carte blanche to be blunt because I'm honest. Uh,
And rude.
yeah, I'm telling you the truth. So you don't take how, that's what my Stephen A people, Stephen A. Smith, you don't take it how I say it because I'm telling you the truth. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's not received in that manner, whether it's the truth or not. People are not receiving in that. But if you speak it with honesty and humility, with those hand in hand, people receive that. Then not only that, people do evaluations of themselves upon hearing that. Because if you coming at me how you coming at me, I'm not evaluating nothing I did. Because first of all, I'm tuning you out. So if you're not
Right.
humble with your delivery, you have to show humility in your relationships, in your building. These are some of the characteristics I think someone had mentioned in their integrity as well. They all
Yes.
go hand
And
in hand. They're all part of the same glove, the hand and glove thing.
yeah, and then remember we also have these type of conversations with our friend Carla. It
Yeah.
may seem confusing, but it's not. When we say others, communication is tricky. It feels simple, it looks simple, but it's really tricky. Why? Because you're looking at gestures, you're listening to tone of voice, and you're also dealing with the other person, the listeners, receiving and assumptions, because you don't know what place they're in at that time, you don't know what's going on. But now the speaker or the person who's sending out the voice and the message, you now have a small obligation to take into account what can be going on, making sure that what you're saying, you know what you're saying, and you're clear about that. And then by the time the person is listening, if they're receiving it in a different way, you're humble enough to say, okay, let's talk about this. Why, how did you get this? This is what I meant. How did you receive it? That's where a lot of this, the point of you coming across as vulnerable as possible comes into play, because vulnerability doesn't mean that you're always in a sad or weak position. It's, you're humble enough to fall back and realize, are people receiving my message clear? But then you're also doing that work within you to know, this is the message that I meant to put out. This is the message that I'm consistently saying, and this is the tone that I'm consistently saying it in. So people are not confused. You're not jovial one moment, you're not yelling the next. You're consistent in your delivery, you're consistent in what you're saying. The balance is there. So communication is so delicate and so intricate that these different things that we're giving you as tips and suggestions of taking action, it's really to also help you evaluate, what are you doing? How are you coming across when you're being visible? Because sometimes we see each other, we see people a lot, we see them, and we can have a quick snap to judgment, right? And we don't mean to, but we're human, that's what we're gonna do it. But not everybody has the ability to fall back, be humble enough to say, you know what, let me give you another chance. I probably, maybe it was the off day for me, for you, I don't know. Let me take in your content one more time. But if you're consistently giving off a the improper vibe, because you're not managing the waters, you're not looking and seeing, okay, how are people taking this? Is this the persona that I meant to put out? Then you're not gonna get your message across. And so you being visible is gonna actually hurt your credibility. So it's always about a balance on that. So I just wanted to make that clear, because the way we're talking, we're bringing up a lot of other things that can creep in to the whole to the visibility and talking and being humble. But I just want to make sure that I said that. You had anything, Carl?
No,
I saw you shaking your head.
no, I think, yeah, because in essence, is just agreeing with that, because it is definitely that, and I think it is what we tend to do, and I'll say this and touch on this so we can move to the next point. What we
Yeah.
tend to do a lot of times in showing humility, we put it on as a act, and it's not genuine. It can be seen through. That's the funny thing that people don't realize, or maybe they do, and they think they can get over on people. People read people. Now, do people
Mhm.
always comment on what they read? Absolutely not. But you best believe, if you're coming across from people, they're reading you such as you're reading them. So a lot of times it kind of like irks me when people come across to you in conversations as if you're an idiot. And when I say idiot, I don't mean that you're not knowledgeable, but idiot as you as an individual who understand how people move, right?
Or you might not catch on quick.
Or you might slow. Like a lot of people use slow. I hate to use that term, and I apologize and not to offend anyone. But people say when you get stuff slowly, or you're not quickly to catch on. Because yes, we have quick wit people who can give you responses quickly. I'm one of those, can jump right on it in the essence of that, and they tend to be looked at in that not being a genuine, honest fashion. But when you're looking at that, people have a tendency to think that you can act humble. like it's just
Pretend. Mhm.
like it's a part in the movie. Yeah, I'm playing humble today. Yeah, okay, sign me up. Me and Denzel, we play humble. Like
Oh Lord.
you can't fake the funk in that. People
Mhm.
genuinely can see that, and they can genuinely see that when we're talking about you speaking with honesty and humility. When you're going on these shows or being on podcasts or hosting and having guests or being lives or doing videos or whatever you may be doing to have your visibility broadcast, to get your credibility from the things that you may be offering or the things that you want to give to people. People
Right.
are viewing that. So they're reading it even on the screen. And you don't have to be, people can read that humility from a Zoom. They can read it from a video that you did. They can read it from your body language. You know, I was in the army. They taught us a lot how to read that stuff and look at that stuff. So, that's it. When you speak about honesty and humility, let it be genuine, because you're not fooling nobody. You're really not.
Yes. So what I also want to say is, to so we can stay in tune in step, is also be ready and willing to be challenged. Cuz and challenge, not meaning that someone's calling you out all the time. If you're doing what you need to do and you're being humble about it, you're fine. But actually being able to be challenged, if someone asks a question, then you can answer it. You're good with that because you understand what your whole purpose is. You understand what the entire what your entire flow is about, right? So if someone challenges you, it's okay. If life challenges you, that's okay. You're
Yes.
willing, you're up for the challenge. You're here for the reason of how can I make through? How can I get through to the next day? And part of you being challenged as well is also allowing you to show your preservation, and people can see that about you. And when people see that about you, then they're saying, "Oh, wow, you went through a lot and you're still here. You're still ready to put that work in, ready to be visible with us." That's what a lot of that can also be too, as you're building your credibility. You're not afraid. You don't run away from the challenges.
And those challenges build growth. That's exactly what they are. They're pushing you out of a comfort zone. And I
Mhm.
really hate the term comfort zone because you're just in the zone of where you're. I mean, it fits the bill of what it is. But I hate when people say push out of your comfort zone because we shouldn't have one. If we're not growing, it shouldn't be a zone we stay in. And that's how I think about things. If I'm not growing or I'm not learning, then
Right.
there's a void, there's a hole there. And I think we should be ever learning and ever evolving and ever, understanding things differently, participating in things. Not everybody has to be bungee jumping. Not everybody has to be skydiving. None of those things. But I think we should always be learning. I agree, and it's a process. The challenge is the process of you learning and growing and developing. And if you're not doing that, how are you even knowing what you're capable of? How are you
Yeah.
even knowing where you could be or who you can benefit? In the realm of your spectrum. So it's a great
Yeah.
thing. Be ready to be challenged.
So as we get ready to be challenged, what does that lead us to? We got to be flexible. Flexible to life and time. If anything, and you always call it the great reset. If anything got us to understand how to face those challenges, be flexible with it, was the pandemic. Now that we're moving past that a little bit, we still have to work that in. Don't allow yourself to not feel flexibility in that. People will always give you these regimens, and they're strict. Oh, you have to do this every day. You have to for visibility, you have to do 1, 2, and 3 17 times a day, every day for 40 days. And God forbid you skip a day, or you feel the guilt, you beat yourself up, or you're feeling someone telling you, well, are you really ready? Is this really what you want? Like, you know what? I'm not here for that. The guilt alone of someone being internally beating themselves up is can be ridiculous. So to have an external person almost question your faith to you, your process, when you're not that person, don't allow that to challenge who you are. Allow yourself to have built in flexibility. Sometimes I realize people say things based on their life experience, and they're not taking into account how other people are moving in this world, how other people are living in this world. And that's not fair. So never match yourself to someone else's lifestyle expectations. Create your own, follow your own, and build flexibility into that. What do you think, Carl?
Yeah, you have to follow it, and you have to be flexible. Learning is about being flexible.
Hmm.
Learning can't be rigid. Everybody learns differently, so you have to be in the flexible. And time definitely the reset was the pandemic. It gave all us an opportunity to try to reprioritize some things in our lives that were out of control. And though you thought you may have been, but in 2019, and you look at how your life is then and now, you can see a lot of things was really out of your control, and you really wasn't living the life that you was destined to be living. And in the essence of that, that's not necessarily even talking spiritual. It's just meaning accomplishing the things that you needed to accomplish as the person that you are. So you have to look at that flexibility in life and time and reprioritize things. Life is precious. And me going to a job 80 hours a week, it's not going to provide me a life fulfillment. Will it pad my pockets, my pocketbook if you're a lady? Absolutely it would. But what is the cost of it? I got a cousin that he works those kind of hours what he did before the pandemic. And he had a beautiful home, but he's never there. He had beautiful cars, but they stayed in the driveway because he was always at work. So, I
Right.
mean, when you look at those things and some of the stuff, the pandemic did us a lot of favor. Of course, I'm not diminishing at all. I had great losses with that as well. Family members, friends that were lost during COVID and what we were hit with. But it also opened my eyes to a lot of growth and understanding as well. So sometimes you have to purge. When you see a
Yeah.
botanist, they go purge the roses. Oh, why are you cutting the roses? They look beautiful. Yeah, but they need some more room. It's something that's growing behind them. And this is what the pandemic done for us. It gave us an opportunity to say, oh, that job I've been doing for 20 years and looking for that gold pin at the end of it, I didn't even love that job.
Come on now.
I didn't love it. So you being flexible with that time, you being flexible with your life now. Now you can apply yourself to things and places and people that you want to be involved with. That brings you joy and happiness. That brings you fulfillment. And all
Hmm.
the while, you can get those jobs that pay you what you deserve to be paid. And it's amazing. So build that flexibility in your time and life.
Yeah, and so as we wrap this, our first short one in a long time, we
Oh
like to
wow.
mix things up sometimes. But I want us to just recap quickly on when you're building this visibility so you can connect visibility to you being credible. You want to be honest and humble about how you're going about this, how you're speaking to others, how you're approaching your visibility. How are you building this up? Be honest and humble about what you know, what you don't know, who you're connected to. You don't have to name drop to build yourself up. If
This
you
is true.
know them, you know them. If you have an honest story about it, you have an honest story about it. But you don't have to always follow people and then start fidgeting and fumbling and fudging what's going on in real life.
Lying.
People will find well,
I'm
he's saying
just
that.
gonna,
But
I'm just
people
throwing it
people
out.
will find out. People will find out and it won't look good. And a lot of
No.
times they won't come to you. It will just spread like wildfire behind you and you don't even realize your whole backyard on fire and you sitting up here thinking nothing's wrong, right? Okay. And then we covered you being willing to being ready and willing to be challenged.
Yes.
That's what life does to us. That's what others do to us, with us. And it's not always on a negative side, but it's on a side of allowing you to be flexible enough that you can say to yourself, I'm visible, I'm here, I'm still credible, even though if I have to step away from a while for a while, you see that, you understand that because I've always been open with you for you to understand that. I'm a human. I'm not a robot. And I don't just show up randomly all the time. I have other things that might come into play, so I have to step away. And with that stepping away moment is you having that flexibility that you're building in because you have a life. You have time that you need to spend with others, your family, your friends, things that you do want to do, projects that you want to work on may have to take you away from certain things that build that visibility. So, podcasting, videos, posting on social media all the time. You might have to step away from groups that you love, but you have other things that you need to be doing. That's part of the flexibility of life. Never be afraid of that. Never be afraid of that and always speak to others so they know this is why you're doing it. Any last words, sir, as we wrap up
Yo,
today?
just be you. Embrace the real person that you are. And a lot of times when you do that name drop, they backfire. They backfire because first and foremost, they're not something that's going to push you forward because it's not you. I don't name
Right.
drop people. I don't. Who I know, I mean, run across if it's a conversation. Well, yeah, I met them. I know them. That's it. I don't talk about experience or anything like that. Because when you name drop people, your credibility, to me anyway, your credibility
Mhm.
already drops. You already drops because you're hinging on the ability to you to do something because you know somebody else, and that
Right.
takes your credibility away. Think about what I said. That's all I got for you guys. We had a nice show to squeeze on.
Yes.
My co-host didn't talk a lot today. She just chilled.
Yeah, because I had another meeting, but see, flexibility, y'all.
That's really what life and time. That's what they do. That's what they do. We
Yes, but
appreciate
thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming through as always. And we'll be
that.
back next week because we're going to talk more about the credibility and the visibility and how vulnerability builds into all of this.
Yeah.
All of this. This is not one without the other. So can't wait. And trust me, If y'all haven't already, make sure you follow us, connect with Carl and myself,
Yes.
and make sure that you're looking for our hashtag credible vulnerability. And we'll catch y'all next week.
Deuces, people.